What's up? 80 here. And to not waste time, let's jump into the video and spin around. So let's make sure things are ultra.
Oh my god. Why? Why, AD? Must you
Stop that
always do
Pokemon.
this to me?
I
With
love.
your horrible jokes.
Go.
I love with you for God's sake.
And for the Ricky number 10 spot, we got Mega Charizard X. Now, Mega Charizard X is one of the classics that almost every Pokemon fan loves. Because Charizard finally got their dragon typing. Why is it so low on the list? Why is it so low on the list? Well, why? It's because, first of all, it doesn't have the ability levitate, which keeps its immunity to ground moves, yet it's freaking always in the sky. Like, what kind of stupid move was that, Game Freak? At least give it levitate. Second of all, I think it could have looked more like a dragon. Maybe the wings could be more dragony like Igneal's wings. Not too like Igneal's wings. And, like, the stomach and the feet. And that's always one that threw me off. And why are its hands so thin and its claws so fat? Those are always questions I've been asking myself. And I don't know why. It looks good, but could have looked more like a dragon. Could have made a few more improvements, but that's in my opinion. If you love Mega Charizard X the way it is, tell me. Down in the comments below. Ooh. Oh god. For the number 9 spot, we must have Chandelure, and Alolan Marowak. Though I do like Chandelure a little bit more because in any game that I've used a Chandelure, I was just a huge troll. I had the Will-O-Wisp toxic attacks on this thing and put it a focus sash. So it was my main troll. And it did the job good. Marowak, it looks good, and the anime left a good impression. Even though it was ugly, a good impression. That's all. Just kidding, I like Chandelure more. And I could definitely use less Alolan Marowak. But I just thought it would be fun since my Chandelure was always a troll. Although the reason I beat Black and White and Black and White 2 is because I always had a Chandelure on my team to Toxic or Will-O-Wisp. I can't remember that well. Maybe Chandelure can't learn Toxic, but whatever. It was just a massive troll. Just Will-O-Wisping and maybe Toxicing everything. But I know I had always had a lot of Pokemon on my team no Toxic. But Chandelure was the best at it. It was always Toxic stalling, Will-O-Wisp stalling the Elite Four, and I got through Champion Iris from my Clutch Freezer. It's not you, it was a Jellicent, but I also got through Iris with my Clutch Will-O-Wisp Destroyer Chandelure, and that's why I love this thing. And we have in the number 8 spot Now let me tell you a story about Aegislash. In my Pokemon X and Y, whenever this thing changed stances when it was not supposed to change stances, I had the focus sash on it. So if I was supposed to tank a hit and I went to attack form, no worries. I had gone for a super effective move on this thing. Like, my Aegislash was always the star of my team, except for, well, my Greninja, who is always Water Shuriken everything. Water Shuriken, Water Shuriken. But we'll get to that later. Aegislash was always doing stuff for me. I got to the Kalos Elite Four with this masterpiece. And I don't intend on trading this. My Aegislash, the Tanky Knight. No, I think it was a Knight. Let me go back to my Pokemon X and Y and check. Wait for a second. And through the power of editing, I just figured out it was Iron Knight. No, it was the Ghostly Knight. Jeez, why do I keep messing this up? It was the Ghostly Knight. I never traded the Ghostly Knight for anything. I always kept Ghostly Knights. Ghostly Knight didn't even see the lights of the PC. That, my friend, is special because nearly all of my starters have seen the light of the PC. At least once. And that was so I could train other people on my team. And it worked, but Aegislash, no! Slash was not even allowed to think about the PC. All it had to think about was VGC battling. Yup, I used it. I don't have to think for VGC. I was still a casual player, but now I'm a mix of the casual player and the competitive player, so don't know what I am. Casual and betted? The reason I'm so good at Pokemon is from my training with the master himself, Aegislash. And flip flop flippity flip flop flip Megalovania 7. Trevenant is basically my Gen 6 version of Shield, except it looks better. It's more efficient with the ghost typing. It is much better than some ghost types. Not to point out names. Airwhack. It's much better than those ones. And Trevenant has this like spooky background and trolly past where everyone who has used it has at least had Will-O-Wisp on it. Yes, this was my Gen 6 Chandelure, except I wasn't worth putting it on the line because it was quite useful. Citrus Berry Harvest Stalling was the best. The best. I Citrus Berry Harvest on this thing. I didn't have synthesis. My meaning of healing and doing all that stuff was a harvest. And I always had this citrus berry on this thing. Poison or any digital like that, no problem. I had brought a bunch of full restores. And Trevenant was a prime example of an OP ghost type with some pretty useful stalling attack. Numero 6. Oh yeah. If Lycanroc Midnight isn't on your badass looking Pokemon list, then I don't know what is or what will be. Because Lycanroc Midnight has this creepy awareness feeling I always get when I see it. It's like I'm being watched with a deathly stare. And if I try to cross this thing, it'll slash me into a million pieces. Lycanroc Midday is the more tamed one, but Midnight is the more wild and destructive one. That's what I like about this one. It really brings out the inner color of humanity and animals. Destruction. It's not afraid to show its true colors, to show that it is going to slash you apart. It's not afraid of its weaknesses. It's not afraid of anything. It's just been through so much as it was evolving. And it just realized the true meaning of life. Now it's pissed at what it knows and angry. And it's turned evil and corrupt, dark. And also, Game Freak, why is this not a dark type? Try to balance it out. I don't care about that. It should be a dark type. At least make one a dark type. And then make Midday, which type? Grass or maybe steel? But I don't care what you do to Midday. I just want Midnight to be a dark. Well, no, don't make it a dark type Game. I know the. No, make it a dark type. It would be really fragile and weak if it was a dark type. Well, at least give it a signature move like frickin' Midday. Midday doesn't even look cooler than Midnight, and it's the one that gets the signature move. Really, Game Freak? And for the number 5 spot, we have. Do we really have to argue on Noivern? Some of you watching this video know some of my reasoning for loving Noivern. It looks cool, it has decent stats, it jumps from sweet little bat to this badass sound creature. I've used Noivern as my Boom Burst and Disaster. I basically used Boom Burst on everything. Literally everything I saw was Boom Burst. Noivern was one of the few mons on my team that I would use instead of using them on special occasion. Noivern was just, it was a higher level than my freaking Greninja. My freaking Greninja had Ice Beam. Noivern had done a lot of boom bursting for me, and even when it was at a type disadvantage, it found a way to win. I got a strategy. I had a few moves to counter its weaknesses, but my main move was freaking Boom Burst, and I won the Elite Four with only using Noivern. I was so hyped. Noivern had defeated every single one of the Kalos Elite Four. And the Kalos Elite Four didn't even see Noivern coming. They underestimated me, so I boom bursted them to death. And then Dragon pulsed them like nobody's business. Noivern was one of the only mons that I used, and the only Mon that I used for the entire Elite Four. And when I versed the champion, half of the champion's Pokemon were destroyed by Noivern. Then Greninja had to fill in for Noivern and killed 2 Mons. And then Noivern went back out and killed the final freaking Mon. Noivern, I was so hyped. And I thought no one could surpass freaking Noivern and my team. And I was never losing with this badass Mon. Even when my team had been completely abolished and I only had Noivern left, I won a 6v1. Yes, my team was wiped out by one Pokemon. Noivern destroyed them all. And I was so hype, my friend. So hype that I shouted in the middle of the room. Noivern was awesome, and with its decent stats, I was defeating trainers left, right, front, and center. Even up and down, no trainer was escaping my Noivern. And it was awesome. So my Noivern, it was just amazing. Craggy the Noivern, you were amazing, my friend. No, it wasn't Cracky. Cracky was my Metagross. Yeah, crash, bang. Yeah, it was bang. Bang the Noivern defeated everyone in its path. Now let's take a moment of silence to worship this amazing Mon. I could go on forever about Bang the Noivern, but for time's sake, I'm gonna move on to number 4. Greninja. Possibly, I'm fine with any Greninja, but this Greninja just sticks with me for some particular reason. Maybe it's because of that stupid Ash Ketchum. Maybe it's just a theory of mine. But Ninja Water the Greninja. Great name, by the way. Some of you might think it's stupid, but it was an awesome nickname because it's a ninja and it's water type. Genius. Anyway, Ninja Water the Greninja was a very, very, very useful Mon. The useless Mon on my part was Delphos. I can't believe I used that stupid thing. Anyway, Greninja was a very useful Mon. As for its ability, water something, hydrates, I don't know what's the ability for water type is called. I'm gonna call it hydrate something. Anyway, Ninja Water was sweeping teams left and right. It was surfing, water shuriken, dark pulse, and ice beam. Everything. Every single Mon. That was my main set. I just kept using that set. Greninja was the Mon I used when Bang was down. and it was pretty useful. Pretty useful on its parts. Destroying mons left and right was its job, and helping Bang was also its job. To be short, Greninja was an awesome mon that helped Bang the Noivern when stupid Clefairy wouldn't stop moonlighting and Bang lost all of its PP. Ninja Water was the guy. Alright, number 3 is in action. Mega Lucario. Mega Lucario is the mon that I most rely on when it comes to close combat. No, seriously, when it comes to fighting up close, Mega Lucario was the mon for me. I would use it so many times. I would combat up close and then bullet punch my enemy after a few swords dances. And over time, I got rid of Aura Sphere. Just lying, I got rid of close combat for a move that would counter its weakness to fire, Earthquake. And I have to say, EQ is a very useful move. And all of you know that. All of you watching this who have played Pokemon before, Gen 1 was basically the plot of using Earthquake on everything you saw. And Mega Lucario embodies that with Bullet Punch. With its strength, stamina, speed, and its great stats, I'm surprised this thing wasn't banned. Because, yeah, Bullet Punch and Swords Dance make for a pretty good combination. And I don't know what's going to get past that, my friend. I do not know. And for the second spot, we have regular Mewtwo. Mewtwo was the first legendary we were ever introduced to. Ever. And that's not even discovering Mew. Mewtwo was the first legendary we ever knew. Well, Mewtwo has great psychic abilities. I would not comment on its physical abilities too much, as it is a special attacker thanks to its stupid psychic typing. Anyway, Mewtwo is an overall useful Pokemon, and if you don't know my reasons for liking it, what is wrong with you? I mean, haven't you played the original Pokemon Red and Blue? Jeez. If you have, you should know my points for liking Mewtwo. Yeah. Basically, I've had a lot of good experiences with Mewtwo, and I'm gonna take that and put it straight into the number 2 spot, as there's only one Pokemon I can think of that tops Mewtwo. And number 2 is overall the best placement for Mewtwo for obvious reasons. I mean, look at it. And for the moment I have been waiting for, number 1. Mega Rayquaza is a beast Pokemon with its very own tier. I don't even know if anything goes as a tier. I'm considering anything goes as a ban list, meaning Mega Rayquaza is essentially banned from the competitive. The term anything goes is that you can basically use anything you want against this thing because it's got so much competitive potential that it's way too strong to have rules listed to it. As if a Pokemon would actually be able to defeat Mega Rayquaza the normal way. Jeez, what kind of sicko actually thinks Mega Rayquaza is weak? As Mega Rayquaza was the very first Pokemon, well, very first legendary I saw, because I played Emerald before I got to play the original Red and Blue. Rayquaza just stuck with me. It was cool, and seeing it have a Mega Form was awesome. And so when it got a Mega Evolution, I was really excited to see which tier that Mega would be in. And unlikely to my surprise, I found that it was so OP, it was banned. And that just made me think, this is awesome. This thing is actually banned from competitive because of its power. This is the greatest day of my life. The very first legendary I knew was the very first legendary to make its own official canon tier. Yes. And you remember child me just crying tears of joy and laughing my heart out. He was so happy for Rayquaza. So happy. That's why it's number 1. And the winner of the most OP, looking and awesome, appreciated Pokemon ever goes to Mega Rayquaza. Good job, Rayquaza. I'm proud, and I love the way you're so awesome.